Alright guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be checking out 4 of my favorite compact weapon lights. Now each of these lights were more or less made with everyday carry in mind, and I think they serve a great purpose. Right now we are approaching SHOT Show 2018, it is just a few weeks away, and I have seen some new offerings from Streamlight, from Surefire, when it comes to the compact weapon lights, but we're not going to be getting into those. I want to stick to these 4. Now as I make this video, early January 2018, these are some of the best options on the market for compact weapon lights. So what we're going to do is check out each light. I'm going to do a quick rundown on the specs and features, and then give you guys some of my thoughts and opinions on each light. Now the first light that I want to start off with is the Inforce A PLC. Now the Inforce A PLC has very easily become one of my favorite lights, if not my complete favorite light out of these compacts, and that's for a good reason. Now the gun is safe, all these guns are safety checked, but the Inforce A PLC, when they first dropped this light, it was damn near impossible to get your hands on one. Right now, the way the market is, these lights are pretty readily available just about anywhere you look, and they're really not priced too bad. So the Inforce A PLC has some really cool features, and one of the best things about it is just a simple light. You have your basic constant on, as well as momentary. It is ambidextrous with paddles on each side, and each of the paddles have this little stippled portion. I really love the paddles on the A PLC. That is a big reason why this light has become one of my favorite, if not my favorite, compact weapon light. Now as far as specs, this is a 200 lumen light. It does have a runtime of 1.5 hours. It has your basic 1913 Picatinny mount with a single screw, and I like that it is a flathead screw. In a pinch, you could get it off with, say, a coin, maybe a shell casing, but you really shouldn't have to take this light on and off too much. Another cool feature with the A PLC is if you are going to just throw this in a range bag just like this, I recommend at least throwing it in a holster then a range bag. But if you are going to throw it in a range bag, you can turn the bezel a quarter turn, and that completely deactivates the light so you can't turn it on and run down your battery. Now getting into some of the flaws, or at least what I think are flaws of this light, first of all would be the battery. Now these are just my opinions, you know, this is just me talking. If I could have this light any way I wanted. But one of the biggest things that I dislike about this light is it takes a CR2 battery. Now most lights take a CR123, maybe even a AAA, more common batteries in the light world, but this A PLC takes a CR2 battery, and you know, they're not hard to get or anything. I just hate having all these lights that take different batteries. It could really be a pain in the ass. Now when it comes to Inforce, I tried to stay away from Inforce lights when they first hit the market. They were just having a lot of issues with cracking, and I know some guys still don't like to mess with them because they are more or less polymer lights, but their mounting system is completely constructed of metal. I think it is a very solid light. This thing's coming in right around 115 bucks. I will go ahead and leave a link as well as a discount code down below. But I think it is a solid light, and like I said, it has easily become one of my favorite carry lights. Now moving on from there, let's go ahead and check out the Surefire XC1. Now this light is a very popular weapon light when it comes to everyday carry, and that's for good reason, but for me personally, I've had quite a few issues with this XC1. So let's just go ahead and get those issues out of the way, and I will show you guys what happened. What happened with this light was the mounting system broke. Now Surefire did send me all these extra parts, so you know, I can't be mad about that. They have great customer service. But on the XC1, the mounting system is a flathead screw right here that screws into another side that clamps onto your rail, which is this little piece right here. Well, if you guys can see that little gray spot, that is where the little rod here that holds the screw was tacked onto, and I wasn't over tightening it. I would take the light off, put it on another gun, you know, just swapping lights, no big deal. And one day this just completely cracked, and then the mounting system was screwed. So what I did, got a hold of Surefire. They sent me this, you know, XC1 upgrade kit at no charge, so they do have great customer service. But for a $269 light, I don't think those things should be happening. Now besides that, I have had some issues with lighting. And what I mean by that is I would go to activate the light, and luckily it wasn't in a self-defense situation, but I would go to activate the light and I wasn't getting anything, and I would actually have to hit the light and then it would come on. For a while, the first few times that happened, I thought, the battery's going dead, or maybe the cap was loose. But after doing this about 5 or 6 times, it kind of had me worried, and I do think I need to send this light back to Surefire. Now, besides that, I haven't really seen too many other guys have issues with the Surefire XC1, or at least that I know about. If any of you guys have had an issue with this light, definitely let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear about it. But besides that, this light does have some great features. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is this light does take a AAA battery, which is great. Most people have a AAA battery laying around their house, so it's really not too big of a deal. This little light is pumping out 200 lumens. Not the brightest, but it's also not the weakest of the bunch. I think 200 lumens is a decent amount for a carry light. Now, off of that AAA battery, this light is getting 1.5 hours of run time. It does have ambidextrous controls, and I do like the controls on here. They're very minimal, very easy to get to. And with the Surefire XC1, the ambi controls on the back here, which you're going to access with your index finger, whether you're right or left-handed, that is just a momentary feature. So that's momentary, and if you want constant on, you have to press this little button right here in the middle. I've never used the constant on. When I am practicing with this light or have it out at the range running a light, I just use the momentary feature and I'm good to go. So all in all, the Surefire XC1 is a good light. I really can't say it's a bad light. I've kind of had some bad experiences with it, so I don't know if I would want another one. I do plan on sending it back to Surefire and maybe seeing if they could replace the light. But all in all, for $269, I just don't know if I could recommend this light with some of the other offerings on the market. Now, let's go ahead and check out the OIT PL Mini Valkyrie. So the PL Mini Valkyrie has a lot going for it, but it also does have a few flaws. Now, the first complaint I have has nothing to do with OIT or this light in particular, and that is not too many holster companies are making holsters for this light setup. I personally have not had a chance to carry this light. I've had it out at the range on a number of different guns. I've even thrown it on a few rifles just to see how it would do under rifle recoil, and I've never had an issue with it. Now, the next thing that I'm not the biggest fan of is also something that I do love. I know that sounds weird, but let me explain. So the OIT PL Mini Valkyrie is a rechargeable light. It does have an internal battery that cannot be changed. And if you're familiar with OIT, they usually send out these little magnetic chargers. I think that's wonderful. Slap it on there, plug this USB portion in your car, into a phone charger, and then you'll get, what is it? I think it is like an hour and 10 minutes of runtime. So it's really not too bad off of a single charge. But the issue I have with that is the internal battery. Now, this light has a lithium polymer battery, and from what I know, there are a lot of advantages to the lithium polymer batteries. I guess they hold charge very well, they have a great lifespan, but what happens when that battery takes a crap? Is the light just junk? Do you throw it away? I don't know. These are things that I do plan on addressing to OIT when I meet them out at SHOT Show. I'm just curious for myself, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated as well. With those two flaws out of the way, let's go ahead and check out some of the functions and features of this light. So the OIT PL Mini Valkyrie is pumping out 400 lumens, which is the brightest of the bunch that I'm showing you guys today. It does have a constant on with 1 click, and then a momentary with about a 2-second hold. Now, that 400 lumens in such a small package is very impressive. The paddles on this are very similar to the Surefire XC1. Just has the paddles on either side of the light, but I do feel like the OIT paddles feel a little bit better than the Surefire paddles. They're just a little more, I don't know, the Surefire paddles almost seem sticky compared to these, so I do like the paddles on the OIT PL Mini a lot better than the XC1. Another cool feature with the PL Mini Valkyrie is it does have a QD attachment. Now that's nice because if you're anything like me, you're always swapping lights around, playing with other setups. So you basically just slap that QD and your light is off. Now I haven't had any issues with this light falling off, coming loose, anything like that, no matter what setup I've ran it on. So I do really like that QD feature, and it really doesn't stick off of the gun a whole lot. I have had other QD mounts where the lever actually sticks out quite a bit, so it is nice that OIT kept that nice and tucked in there. Now the last feature with the PL Mini is this little LED indicator. Now if you guys can pick up on that little tiny circle up here in front, that is actually a little LED that flashes red when your battery is about to go dead. Now I don't know if any of you guys are going to run this light for an hour and 10 minutes constantly, but if you do, this little light will let you know when to recharge it. So at the end of the day, is this light worth it? Coming in right at $79, I do think it's worth it. I would just really like to know the lifespan of that internal battery. If someone were to ask me if they should buy this light, I would honestly say, if you can find somebody to make you a holster for it, and you know, if you were to send this light to a holster maker, they could make it no problem. I would just like to see holster companies actually making readily available holsters for it without having to send your light in. Now, the last and final light that I want to check out is going to be the Streamlight TLR6. The only issue I have had, if you guys can see, a screw is missing up front. I did strip out a few of the screws. Streamlight sent me 3 new screws, no charge. They have great customer service, but I must not have put Loctite on one of them, so one of them rattled off at some point. Now, my Glock 43 gets the most carry out of most of my guns due to the fact it's so small. I can conceal it at all times, and when I carry a spare mag and have a +1 or +2 in it, I feel comfortable with the setup. Getting into the features of the TLR6, it is a little bit different than some of these other lights, and that's due to the fact that it does have a laser. Now right now I have it in light only mode, and this is a 100 lumen light. With the ambi controls on either side, you click them both at the same time, and right now is laser only, and then you can press it again and get light and laser, or you can just keep it at light only like I do. Now, much like the Inforce A PLC, the little TLR6 here does take kind of an oddball battery, and that is a CR 1 1/3 N. It is not hard to find, they're not very expensive, and honestly, I haven't changed the batteries in this for over a year. I really don't use these lights a whole lot besides when I'm practicing or just playing around dry firing. But the CR 1 1/3 battery has been a good battery. It just does suck that it is kind of an oddity. Now, I do see why Streamlight had to keep such a small battery in here due to the fact that this light is so thin, very, very short. And in my opinion, you know, Streamlight's making these lights that do mount on a Picatinny rail now for a full-size gun. But in my opinion, I just don't think they look right. If you're gonna spend almost $100 on a light, at least pick up the Inforce A PLC or even go with a full-size TLR1. I just don't think the TLR6 looks right on a full-size gun. Now, that's just my opinion. If that's something you would like to do, more power to you. I'm not hating. Just for me personally and my gun setups, I would not put a TLR6 on a pick rail. Now, the TLR6 can be mounted to smaller guns like this. This is a Glock 43, like I said. They also make a few different lights that fit, like the SIG 938 and 238, the Glock 42, all of the Shield lineup, a few cars, a Kimber Micro. So they do make these lights that fit guns without a rail, and that is where I think the TLR6 really shines. Now, right down here, this little hole and this little hole here, we have our laser adjustment, so if you want to sight that laser in. And this light does get 1 hour of runtime. But like I said, I feel like these batteries have lasted the longest, and maybe I just don't play with this light quite as much as some of my other ones. But all in all, the TLR6 has been a great light. Now, it's been a little while since I've checked, but last time I checked, the TLR6 was coming in right around $90. I will leave links for all these lights below. I'll also throw some discount codes down there. But guys, the TLR6 is a great light. The A PLC is a great light. The XC1, you know, I've had my personal issues, but from what I know and what I hear from other guys, it is a decent light. I just need to get that sorted out with Surefire. But all in all, in my opinion, all 4 of these lights are great options. They do have some features that you personally may like more than the next. But if I had to pick one light out of all these, I would probably go with the A PLC. Now, I'm typically running the A PLC on my CZ P10C. I have a holster set up for it. That's what I like it on. But I do plan on buying another A PLC for this M&P 2.0 compact. I'll probably do that here soon. I don't know. So if any of you guys have questions on one of these 4 lights, leave it down in the comments below. Send me an email. I'd love to answer it for you. I really do appreciate all your guys' support. Please like, share, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.